Okay. Good morning, Lisa. Thanks so much for being
Morning,
here
Beatrice.
today with us. I'm really excited that we are having this conversation because we've been waiting for this day to come and, to talk about business collaboration. And I cannot believe we are here today.
It's great to connect with you too. Thank you for having me.
For those that are watching, I just wanted to do a little bit of like a very brief introduction about what you do, your business, and how we connected, so they can understand why I invited you to talk about business collaboration in our interview series. Let's talk about business collaboration. So, Lisa is a success and business coach, and we actually connected online maybe a couple of months ago, roughly, from, in one of the Facebook groups that we are part of, and we connected because she is I will say that you are a collaboration advocate, and actually you teach your clients, or you help your clients get started in business. And one of the things that you do is actually you help them to collaborate with local businesses to get them started and to market their business as well. So I think that, or I felt that you were going to have a lot of good experience and great examples and real life examples actually to share with those out there wanting to understand a little bit more about business collaboration, how does that look like in real life, what value that can add to your business, to your professional development and career development and personal development, and also in terms of marketing your business, I guess. So I'm really, really happy to have you today, and I'm really, really keen to hear all the good tips and hints that you have to share with us. So I'm also excited about all the things that we are working on right now behind the scenes, things that we want to do to add value to our audience and to spread the message about the value of business collaboration. So I think that to get started with the interview, I would really love, and I think that will help you get in the right headspace for the rest of the interview. So if you could, first of all, tell us a little bit more about you, about your business, and what you do. And if you can share with us what business collaboration means to you, I think that will be a great way to start.
Okay, well, thank you for having me once again. So my name's Lisa Newman Morris, and at the moment I work with small business owners and emerging entrepreneurs. So people who are really either looking to start a new business or who are looking to grow their business. Maybe they've been in business for just a year or a couple of years and they're not really getting the results they want, and they want to launch their business to the next level. So the two main areas that I work with the business owners on is the success side of things, so the mindset for success. So one of the things I really believe is that success comes from your positivity and your confidence and your mindset. And often the biggest blocks in business I see are the mindset blocks, not necessarily the actual skills and ability to run the business, but it's something that's occurring which is holding people back. So I work with business owners to really trying to achieve and master a success mindset and help them just overcome those confidence blocks and really help trying to launch them forward and help them believe in what they're actually capable of achieving. I think, my experience of coaching in so many different aspects of life, I've been coaching for over 30 years now. What I was going to say was that in all my experience coaching, that so many people don't believe that they're capable and have no idea of how much they are actually capable of achieving. So a lot of the time it just takes someone to give them that little prod and to help them build that confidence to see what they're capable of and to set some really ambitious goals. And so then the next step, once they've done that, is to make sure that they can focus on the business fundamentals, which are important, vital actually for business success. And those fundamentals are, you know, they're not the most exciting thing in business. Often it's all about creating your products and getting out to market and talking to people, but it's the actual fundamentals of running a successful business, which is what makes or breaks a business in the long term. So yeah, once they've achieved that mindset of being able to, you know, really think big and be ready to take their business to that next level or to launch their business, then I help them focus on those important fundamentals which are required for success.
Excellent. That sounds awesome. And in terms of what you teach or what you help your clients with when it comes to marketing, you know, and incorporating or considering business collaboration. So to start with, you know, to start talking about that in particular, what does business collaboration actually means to you?
Yeah, okay. So I think there's a number of different ways that you can look at collaboration. I think the main thing is, as a small business owner, a lot of people feel very isolated, and especially if they're a small business owner working from home, then they're in their own environment. They're not interacting with other businesses. They don't have a boss. So they often feel very lonely and not sure, you know, if they come up against a stumbling block, there's no one to bounce ideas off. There's no one to share struggles with. So collaboration is a way for business owners to, you know, feel like they're not in it alone, that they can connect with other people in a similar situation and actually feel like that they've got a little bit of a support network behind them. Another benefit is the definition of collaboration is, I guess, just working with other businesses, other organizations, or other groups for a mutual benefit. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary benefit. It can be or any benefit really, which is relative to each of the organizations.
That's interesting. I like that description of collaboration, and I will really like to elaborate a bit more around that. Like when you say that there is two very important things that you have mentioned here. So one of the ways that you can look at collaboration or business collaboration is that it's a really good tool, I guess, to interact with other business owners regardless of where you are located. And you know, doesn't matter if you work from home or if you work from an office, like that interaction, like it helps you to deal with that isolation feeling that sometimes home-based business owners face when they are running businesses from home. So that's a really good I guess aspects of collaboration. And then you talk about, you know, those collaborations in which two business or entrepreneurs come together to add value to same or different audiences. So it's a win-win relationship, and it doesn't necessarily involve money as part of the transaction, let's say in that way. So and I guess that, yeah, you can have both. Like you can have those business collaborations in which you can immediately see the return of investment financially, but sometimes it is not that straight, you know, when you start collaborating with someone. And it's something interesting because from the other interviews I've done for the interview series, it is amazing how people see collaboration. Like if someone is looking to have an immediate financial return of investment, sometimes collaboration might not be the first thing they can think of, because most of the time, you know, it is about building relationships, gaining trust, connecting with other entrepreneurs that might have something in common and that might benefit each other's audiences, but don't necessarily involve money. So from your experience doing that, how, I would like to know two things, I guess. So one of the thing is that in your experience helping your clients getting involved in business collaborations, what would you say is the percentage, if you can just throw a number up there, where financial reward or financial return of investment is part of the deal, and which of those collaborations are not actually involving any kind of financial reward straight away for the parties involved? Do you have examples, or do you have an idea of that number? So to give an example, to give an idea of those that are watching.
Of all the collaboration opportunities that I have recommended or been involved with, I'm actually struggling to think of any where there was a direct monetary outlay.
At the beginning, I guess.
They're all just about, just working together to build a relationship for the long term, or getting in front of each other's audiences for, obviously there has to be a potential return in the long run, but I can't actually think of all the ones that I've been involved with where there was any monetary return instantly at all. So I have to say 0% for the monetary side.
But that's good as well, because what I've learned about business collaboration is that it is mainly about exactly what you said: building relationships, gaining trust, creating that relationship between two business owners to find out if there is more that they could do together at the end of the day. Because then if you build that relationship, if you work well together, then potentially it can either result on a financial reward for each businesses, or there might be cases in which they decide to come together and set up like a legal partnership kind of thing, and then create something together, and then they get that financial reward or financial return of investment, I guess. But mainly the main reason, or the main things that you the initial reason why you start collaborating with someone is exactly like that, like just to be in that relationship, gaining trust, and find out if you can do more things together. So from your experience with that, do you have any example that you would like to share about that?
Sure. Yeah, so I've got some good examples from some of the local-based business owners that I work with. So these examples are probably quite specific to someone who has a business in the local area and relies on the local community to be their customers. So one example is working with a local primary school and having access to obviously the staff and the parents. So if that was your ideal audience, the type of people that would be teachers and staff or parents of a local primary school. So if you're looking for parents with young children, for example, a number of different opportunities there to either sponsor the school for in return for exposure, providing raffle prizes. Most schools do quite a bit of fundraising. So there's lots of examples I've got where businesses have provided prizes to be raffled off at trivia nights or fundraising events. And so the business that's donating the prizes gets great exposure, and the school gets a fantastic result because they're able to raffle the prize off for a profit. So it's a real win-win. Another example would be with a primary school in particular, that most primary schools run an annual fete. So there's an opportunity there to set your business up in a stall So actually have a physical presence and be able to be seen, be able to chat to the parents. You're going to actually also get families and other parents coming in from other areas as well to the fetes. A lot of primary schools have, you know, really big fetes where they attract a huge audience from, you know, surrounding suburbs as well. So if your audience is coming from your local area, that's a fantastic way. And it usually doesn't cost a lot of money to set up, you know, a little stand and to be there all day and to be have maybe samples of your product or paraphernalia about your service that you offer, and to be able to actually talk to people. You know, it's a great way to be seen and to be able to show people that you're an actual person, rather than just being an advertisement or a Facebook post. You know, that person-to-person relationship in business is so vital, that being able to talk to people face-to-face is really, really important when you're running a local business, to be able to be seen to be the expert in a local area, and so people can relate to you. So yeah, working with the local primary school is one of the really valuable investments that I encourage local businesses to look at, especially if that's the target audience that they're looking for.
That's it.
So another collaboration.
Yeah, there is just a little bit of a delay. I don't know if whoever that is watching this interview later on is going to also see that delay, but I just want to put it out there in case there is a little bit of that in the recording. So yeah, you were going to say.
Yeah, I think we've got a little bit of a... Yeah, I think we've got a bit of a slow connection too. There's been a few times where the audio has slowed down to slow motion, so hopefully it doesn't come across. The joys of technology.
Yes.
Yeah. Pros and cons. Yeah, so another example, again with the local business owner, is to reach out to sporting clubs. So most sporting clubs also do a lot of fundraising. There are sponsorship opportunities. All the sports clubs I know around my area, when I had a local business, I relied a lot on interactions and collaborations with the local sporting club. Excuse me, we had, again, donating prizes for their fundraising events. We did sponsorship packages where the parents and the members of the sporting club could come and use my service, and I would take a small fee for that service, but then I would donate that fee back to the sporting club. So it was a win-win in that all that they needed to do was to promote my business to their members. I would get someone to come and work with me in my business, and then I would donate the fee that I received back to the sporting club. So that was a fantastic collaboration example where there was a real mutual benefit and a win-win for both of us. Yeah, so those are probably the two, you know, obvious things for a local business. There are so many different sporting clubs, football clubs, cricket clubs, netball clubs, you know, softball, baseball. You could list them off, endless numbers of clubs that you can contact and actually collaborate with, and to build some really great relationships to work together and, you know, have access to all those members in the club.
That's really good. Those are really good examples, and I guess we are here to talk about the real stories or the real deal with business collaboration. And I guess that I have to ask, when you explain this example of when you had a local business, you collaborating with the sport clubs, you say, okay, they were going to promote my business and I was going to offer my services to their members and then give back whatever that I was getting from that to the sport club. So definitely a win-win situation. But for some people, if you put it like that, it could mean okay, so the financial the financial benefit in this relationship was going to go straight to the sport club. But for you as a business owner, even if it's not in the short term, because I get that for you, your priority, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I get from what you're saying, your priority at that stage was actually to promote your business, to get exposure, and to connect with that local audience that was, at the end of the day, was your ideal audience. And maybe in the long term, some kind of financial return as well. So what would you say from that experience, what would you say was the financial reward or return for you as a business owner in the long run?
Well, the whole purpose was to be able to talk to an entirely different audience that I didn't already have access to. So the sponsorship timeframe was, for example, just a 2-week or a 4-week use of my service. But the aim for me, even though in the short term the financial reward went back to the club, that was so that they had an incentive to foster this relationship.
Of course.
But in the long term, my goal was to gain a lifelong new client out of it. And the benefit was that I wouldn't have normally had the opportunity to speak directly to that person. They would have had to come find me. Whereas with this collaboration opportunity, I was able to get in front of them directly, and they were able to come and use my service and see whether we were a great fit, have, use my solution. And they were a more qualified lead because they were paying a small amount of money to come and trial. So it was like a trial period of my service. But often when you offer a trial service for no money down, they're not necessarily a qualified lead. They're just coming to try your service because it's free. But when someone has to pay a small amount of money, you're really getting much more qualified leads for a short term, even though it's for no financial reward. But the opportunity there is to gain a lifelong customer. And then, of course, the financial reward is whatever the value of a lifetime customer would be for your business.
Exactly. And can you just clarify for us, for those that are watching, what kind of service were you offering back then? So people can get a better understanding of why you were collaborating with a sports club and how their audience was going to benefit for the service, and how you structure, that free trial kind of thing to make sure that they get ideas that they can implement in their business straight away as well.
Sure. Well, it was the business. My previous business was a personal training business, so hence why the sporting club was a great fit. Although in saying that, the opportunity was to try and get in front of the members of the club, the parents. So it wasn't necessarily just the sporting link. It was just the opportunity that they were my ideal members, ideal clients as far as being local and the right type of age group, and with the right sort of interests in being involved in activity and outdoors. It was an outdoor based personal training business. So the sporting club, the people within the sporting club, obviously enjoyed the outdoor environment. They were football and cricket. So it was a great way to offer them a free trial of my personal training service to see whether or not I could help them, and for them to see whether or not my solution was a good fit for them. Yeah, so the free trial was a 2-week or a 4-week trial of my service, and with the aim of then getting them on board as a long-term client.
Okay, interesting. And so when you approached the sports club, what would you think were 2 or 3 of the things that actually helped you to get your message across, to get them see the value of that collaborative relationship? Like, what are 2 or the 3 main elements that you might even have seen in other collaboration experiences with your clients when you go and talk to a local sport club that you might not know the person that runs it, you might not know anyone within that organization.
Can you hear me? Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Now? Do you hear me now?
Ah, that's better. Yeah. I missed that whole bit. That I think your connection froze.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I will just go back to what I was saying and apologize to those that are watching for the tech issues that we might have experienced, but that's part of the, I guess, of working with relying on the technology sometimes. So yeah, what I was saying is that when you were going to approach the sports club, I don't know, you might not know anyone there, or you might have known someone, but when you went and approached them, and when you've seen as well, maybe with your current clients or previous clients, when you go and approach a local business to collaborate, what did you think, or what would you say are 2 or 3 things that you have found very useful and that helps you to get your message across and get that other business on board?
Okay, so all the businesses that I have collaborated with, I have not known anybody. That is certainly a good strategy, and it's one that I do use with my current coaching, that I try and encourage the business owner to have a look within their own business, whether they have clients that know somebody or whether they've already got a contact. That's a great place to start. But you can certainly set up fantastic collaborations when you don't know anybody. So with the sporting club, for example, I didn't know anybody. So what I did was I just found the contact details for the president of the club. I gave him a call. I asked if I could meet with him just to have a coffee and a chat. And so we went and we sat down, we had a great chat. I explained to him what my business was about, and I explained to him that I was looking to work together with the sporting club. Probably the most important thing is to remember that the other business is thinking, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
So what my aim was to try and express to the other club, so to the sporting club, what they would benefit, what I hoped to be able to give to them, and what I hoped to be able to help them with. So I focused on the results from their fundraising, or I focused on the financial benefit that they could receive by participating in the collaboration that I was presenting. So I think that's probably the number one most important thing, is to remember that always people in general, it's just human nature, and there's nothing wrong with it, but everybody is going to be thinking, what's in this for me? And so that to be successful in working with another person or another business, you have to keep that in mind, and you've always got to come from the perspective of presenting not what you want to get out of it, but most importantly, what they are going to get out of it. And then balancing that out by asking them, you do have to be upfront and honest in asking them what you would like to get out of it as well. But by showing benefit to both parties, you're going to create a much more beneficial arrangement. So the conversation and the opportunities to work together is going to be, much more real and worthwhile for both parties.
Okay. And when you, so open communication certainly is one of the things, and it's interesting that I've heard that in every single interview that I've done. Like, people just say, open communication, be clear of what your expectations are, and what the other person expectations are as well, or the other business. So this is kind of in line of what I've been hearing from other business owners that have experience working in collaboration. But in terms of dealing with rejection, like, I guess that if you go and Google the contact details of the director of the sports club, call him, say, I want to have a coffee with you. Like, what do you actually say to them to make them want to have a coffee with you to make it, to convince them. And also, have you had experience dealing with rejection? Like, have you had any case where you called them and they've said, no, I'm not interested, I'm not going to have coffee with you or whatever? And how do you normally, or what do you say to your clients that might have to deal with those kind of things, that might help them gain a little bit more confidence and deal with those kind of situations as well? Because I think that that's one of the things that people feel more fear about, or they feel uncomfortable sometimes when it comes to collaboration, to actually make those approaches for that fear of rejection. So what would you say in that sense?
Okay, so there was two things you asked me there. So I'll start with what to actually say. Yeah. So when you approach a business, I think the first thing is to try and get in front of them face to face, if possible. So either walk into the business and ask to speak to either the manager or the owner, and actually have the opportunity to speak to them face to face if it's a local collaboration, or to find their contact details, and perhaps if it needs to be online, to have a meeting such as this where you can actually see each other's expressions, and it just makes it a lot more personable rather than just being on the phone. So that would be the first thing in terms of approaching a business. What to actually say? Well, I guess you just be yourself. Introduce yourself, let them know who you are and what you do and what your aims are, what you're hoping to achieve. Let them know, just straight out. You just need to be straight out and honest and genuine that you are looking to work with a business such as theirs. You would welcome the opportunity to have some time to sit down with them and buy them a coffee and have a chat to them about what your ideas are, that you do have some great ideas about how you could benefit mutually. So I think it's really important to express that you do have some ideas in how that both of you can benefit. But just be yourself, I guess, and ask, politely ask if they do have the time, because respecting the other person's time, I think, is really important. And just set up an appointment, not just to barge in and expect that you're going to be able to take the business owner or the manager out of what they're doing. So perhaps go in and ask to make an appointment. So as far as actually approaching a business, like, you just keep it nice and simple, and just be yourself. In terms of the rejection side of things, I think, so this is the coach coming out in me now, and I need to give everybody a bit of tough love. If you're not prepared to deal with rejection, you need to have a good hard think about whether or not you're cut out to be in business. Rejection is just a natural part of business. Not everybody is going to want what you have. Not everybody is going to be interested in what you're trying to achieve, and that's actually perfectly okay. In fact, if you have a business where you are aiming to try and please everybody, you're not going to be in business for very long. So sometimes you're going to hit, sometimes you're going to miss, and that's okay. So you just need to be prepared to brush it off and move on to the next opportunity. I'm sure if you thought about your own situation, if you had 10 people calling you wanting to work with you, you're not going to say yes to every single one of them. Yeah. So should they be offended if you say no? It's the same thing. I think you need to keep your options open and not just be relying on one opportunity to work for you. You need to have a few options with the expectation, actually have an expectation that a lot of the opportunities you're going to be rejected quite a few of the times. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay. And that perhaps that's just not the right opportunity for this time. So the other thing is that a no today doesn't necessarily mean a no forever. So it might just be that business is not in a position right now to work with you. It may be a busy peak period for them. And it's not the right time. So come back to them in a few months, or come back to them in 6 months' time. So as far as me having examples of rejection, Yes, most definitely. I can't think of anyone specific because I think there's been many.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything that I really worried too much about or spent too much time thinking about. It was just, here's the opportunity. I certainly can remember, walking into local businesses and introducing myself and offering either a gift of a brochure or for a free sample or a free trial of a service, and them not being interested. And so I just thanked them for their time, let them know that it was lovely to meet them, and wished them a good day, and went on to the next business, and that was fine. So I think that if you can look at rejection as in a different light, if you're able to actually connect with another person, then that's a benefit. Whether or not they're willing to and ready to work with you today,
that's really good.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Business is about people and it's about relationships. And if you can make a connection with another person, even if it doesn't come to fruition for any additional benefit right now, if you build a great relationship and you're friendly and you genuinely express, what you're wanting to give, and come from a place of giving, then come back to that relationship at another point in time, and who knows, you might be able to generate something down the track.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you openly said, be prepared to rejection, because that's something
Absolutely.
that you all the time, and not only in business, in everything you do, I guess. Sorry. But
one of the things I do say, Beatrice, is to think about what's the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
No, seriously, what's the worst? And there's 3 questions you can ask yourself. What's the worst that can happen? Mm-hmm. What's the absolute best result that could happen? And thinking about that can actually be very exciting. And then the third thing is think about what the most realistic result. So what's the worst thing that's going to happen? What's the best thing that could possibly happen? And then what's the realistic thing that could happen? And that's a really great way to just bring you back to reality, to say, okay, well, it's not going to be that bad if I get a no. It could possibly end up in this fantastic opportunity, but realistically, it might work, it might not. So let's just give it a try.
That's excellent. That's really good. Thanks for sharing that with us. And to complement what you are saying, I guess, for those that are watching and want to know if there is any tips that they could keep in mind to reduce the risk of rejection, I guess, to increase your chances to secure a collaboration opportunity. In my case, you know that I'm a collaboration advocate as well, and I love to help other businesses and entrepreneurs as well to feel comfortable about collaborating and to go out there and do it, because there are so many benefits of that. So from my point of view, and then you can complement what I say, I think that there is some things that people can do before making that call and ask whoever that they are contacting, do you want to collaborate with me, or do you want to sit down and have a coffee with me? And I think one of the things that they need to do is actually do their homework. Like, they actually have to go online, if it is online, and find out, in the case that you are sharing, for example, with a sports club, find out who they work with, what are the events that they are organizing for that year, what kind of what's the offering that you are going to bring to the table, I guess. And in order to do that, you have to build that knowledge about that business or that person without necessarily meeting them face to face, because if you're going to meet them, you have to be prepared to what you are going to offer, and what you are going to offer have to be attractive to them as well. So I guess that doing your homework is vital for people to increase the chances of other businesses saying yes to collaborating with them. And the other thing is, and I guess that's part of the research or homework, is knowing their audience as well. Like just finding out if you both share an audience or a goal or something similar that actually put you two together to work together to achieve something. So from my point of view, those are two important things that people need to keep in mind and be prepared before approaching anyone to discuss a potential collaboration opportunity. So do you have anything at all that you think people have to keep in mind when they are approaching another business for a collaboration opportunity?
Yeah, well, I had the same sort of thing. So it's really important, obviously, to have your goals clear. You know what you're wanting to get out of the collaboration, and also understanding what the other party is hoping and likely to get out of the collaboration. The next thing is to make sure that you're speaking to the right people. So you need to think about, you know, are you in the same space? As you said, are you talking to the same audience?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, be specific and targeted with who you're actually going to reach out to. There has to be some sort of similar interest, not just the same audience, but, you know, both
values.
Yeah, both businesses working towards the same end goal and have the same values. And I think the other thing is to be, you know, professional. I think you need to treat any sort of collaboration almost a bit like a job interview. You know, do your homework, be prepared, know a little bit about the other business, go into it, you know, having done a little bit of research, whether that's looking them up online or having a look at their Facebook group, having, you know, connecting with them on Twitter or Pinterest, whatever area that you're in, which is the best platform. And just having a look a bit at what they've actually, what they do, what they're involved with, the sort of messages that they put out, and just see whether you're on the same page. You know, I don't think there's much point trying to connect with someone who's in a totally different space than you. You're both not going to benefit from it. So
exactly.
Yeah,
that's really good. Excellent. Thanks for that, Lisa. And there is a couple of questions that I had from what you were talking about, you know, that interaction or that experience with the sport club. And I love to hear, you know, that you were trying to connect with your community, because your community was kind of your audience at the time. But you were actually also focused on, I guess, in a way, giving back, because you were collaborating with that sport club, offering a free trial of your service, and then giving that money, whatever you were collecting from that, to the sports club. So there is two things here, and I wanted to ask you, from your point of view, in terms of success and mindset, because you work with that, and collaboration, because it was one of the things that we love about when we connected. We love about that. It was about like my line for my business is collaboration for success, and you focus on success a lot. So I am really keen to know, how do you see, you know, that community sense or community engagement, the give back and the collaboration when it comes to success or achieving success in life? So what do you have to say about that?
Look, I think it's vital. I think as a business coach, another thing that I need to get across to business owners is that if you're not in business to give, you're in it for the wrong reason. Your business is about people, and it's about helping people. If you're in business and your goal is not to help people, there's going to be a very short lifespan of your business. And you know, the statistics tell us that 80% of small businesses will fail in 5 years. And there's many reasons for that, but one of them is that the business only exists to make the owner money. And when you're operating from that point of view, it's not very appealing for customers to it's not attractive for customers to come to you. So when you operate from a perspective of generosity and giving and helping people, only good things can come. And so by as a local business owner, as any business owner, really, one of the key things to be able to break through and be seen amongst all the competition that there is, and to, break through the noise of everything that distracts people these days, you have to be seen as an expert in your area. And so one way to do that is to give out to your local community and to your audience, and to give them enormous value. The reality of the world we live in with this digital age is that if somebody needs to find out some information about your service or your product, they can just jump on Google and find probably 100,000 answers. So they're going to find out the information regardless. The best way for you to position yourself in your business to be able to be seen is for them to be able to find those answers from you. So you have to be very generous. You have to constantly provide value. You have to constantly be providing solutions to people's problems for free. You have to be willing to give this information again and again and again. And if possible, if you're a local business, to actually get in front of people face to face and solve their problems. And when you do that again and again, there's always going to be customers who want more, that want personal help, or who want your specific expertise, or who want your specific touch. And that's where you'll get your customers from. One of the hesitations that I do see some business owners getting stuck on is that I don't want to give them all my information. I don't want to give them all my good stuff for free. But, the reality is that they're going to find that information anyway. And if they don't find it from you, they're going to find it from someone else. And if they find it from someone else who treats them well and comes from a place of generosity, guess who they're going to become a customer of? They're going to go to the other business. So you just have to have the understanding that giving and being generous has to be part of you being a successful business owner if you want a successful business.
Yeah, that's love that.
Bottom line.
Yeah. And I completely agree with you. Thanks so much for that, Lisa. I think that was really valuable. So now moving on a little bit to another example that you could share with us. What about those collaborations that might not involve that much structure or formality? So do you have any story to share? So things that people can do straight away, go online, connect with someone that, they share or have some things in common with. What do you have to share about that?
Look, I think social media is a fantastic platform if people want to get on and start collaborating straight away and start practicing these skills that we're talking about. Jump on, your favorite platform where you find the most benefit, and start reaching out to other businesses and other business owners that are in the same sort of space as you. There are Facebook groups for every single industry. So all you need to do is to search for those and request to join those, and start being involved in the conversation, start collaborating with the community by just participating in the conversations and giving value and answering people's questions and offering your expertise. And that's a way to help people and to collaborate with the goals of the group. I think that's a great way for people to start if they need to, if they haven't done any collaboration before and they want a place to start. I think once you get into those type of communities, then there's other things that can come of that. And I think that's where we met, that we were involved in one of the Facebook group communities, and we saw each other giving value, and we recognized that we were in the same sort of space. And so then the next step was to reach out and actually speak to that person directly.
And that's how we connected. Exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's something that's quite low pressure for people that want to start trying something straight away, and probably a good place to start, because social media is such a massive part of our lives these days, and that's where everybody is.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think there is a lot of things that we could do together. Yeah, it's just a matter of finding the right person, the right business. And at the end of the day, that's my view. Like when you come together um, to help people, like from a place to, from your heart and um, wanting to give, I think that amazing things can happen. And if you can find those people out there that might be willing to do the same, I think that we can achieve amazing things. So this is so funny. All the things that could have gone, like the real things in business have happened today. Like our communication was quite funny. Then I am here with my little man because my husband had to go. But this is what business is about anyway. Like this is real business, and I love people to see that as well. So that's part of the reality. I think that I'm pretty sure, Lisa, that you have lots of other stories to share with us. But I think that what you share with us today, the tips, your coaching knowledge as well, because when we were talking about rejection, I think that you share really good tips as well for those that are watching. So I am really, really happy and glad that we've been able to have this interview today. I think our followers and our audience and the people that watch this interview are going to get a lot from it. But before I go on, or before we finish the interview, I would really like to know what's the really like the best piece of advice that you would like to share with those startups and those emerging businesses out there considering collaboration as part of their marketing strategy or as part of one of the things that they will use to grow their businesses. What would you recommend? What's the best piece of advice that you can give them?
Oh wow, if I have to choose just one, just do it. There is so many fantastic benefits to reaching out and talking to other people, to understand that business is about people, and that talking and working with other people can only have good things. And so it's one of my mantras that I try and get across is to say yes. Just say yes to opportunities. Make sure that you're selecting the right opportunities for you and that you're aiming in the right direction. But if you get an opportunity to collaborate, or if you have an opportunity to reach out, just say yes, even if you're not 100% sure whether it's the right one or if it's going to work for you. Work that out later. Richard Branson has a great quote, if you're presented with a fantastic opportunity and you're not sure whether you can do it, just say yes and work out how to do it later. And I think that's a fantastic approach to anything. And when you come from that sort of thinking, when you have that sort of success mindset, then the things that you can achieve and the things that will land on your doorstep are just limitless.
I love it.
Limitless if you open yourself up to that sort of approach.
I love it. And I completely agree with you because as you said before, like if you have connected with someone because of that process of, exploring collaboration opportunities, regardless of what happens later on, if you've connected with someone, that's already a win because most likely you will have learned something from that person anyway. I think that straight away, that's a win. Or if you went out of your comfort zone to approach that person, you've learned something. So you've achieved something. It's a win situation, and win-win. Or it's a win for you anyway. So I completely agree with you, and I completely will encourage people to do that as well, just to say yes and then see what happens. It might not work out, or it might bring lots of amazing things to you, to your business and to your customers. So I completely agree.
You can't ever predict the success or failure of any opportunity, and there's plenty of things I know that I've been involved with where I thought it was going to be a perfect opportunity with a great result, and it's turned out not to be anything at all. So On the flip side, if you're not sure if it's going to be the right thing for you, well, then what have you got to lose by giving it a try? You never know. It could just be the best thing that happens to your business. So I think you said there a bit just getting out of your comfort zone. I think for, you know, a great takeaway as far as success, using collaboration for success, or just achieving success in your business in general, get out of your comfort zone. You have to be comfortable getting out of your comfort zone.
I always say that when you go out of your comfort zone is where you learn the most. And I've experienced that so many times. So it is really worth just to go out there, try something different, connect with someone that you didn't think you will connect with, and amazing things happen. So yeah, completely agree with you. And I have to say thank you so much for your time today, Lisa, and for all the things that you share with us. I'm really, really looking forward to share this interview with everyone else, and I'm really looking forward to see what else we can do together to help more people get the message across about collaboration, because that's part of what we are, I guess, offering to the world, like just to get people understand that together we can achieve much more. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Likewise, looking forward to, well, thank you for having me today, and yeah, definitely looking forward to the projects that we have discussed, that we're going to work together, and to helping each other's audiences and each other's businesses. I know there's going to be some some great opportunities, and I'm really looking forward to what we've got planned.
Yes, and me too. And stay tuned, those that are watching, because yeah, there are some amazing things that we want to put together for those that are looking to achieve success through collaboration. And yeah, just stay tuned. Where can people find you, Lisa? Because I know, I guess that for those that don't know, this interview is going to be shared on Colabora's YouTube channel, and they can just watch the interview there, or just follow my page on Facebook to get this interview and the other interviews that I've done. But for you, where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
My website is lisanewmanmorris.com.au. Just my whole name as one word. You can jump on my website, and I'm on all the socials. If you just look up my name, Lisa Newman Morris, you'll find me on all the socials.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thanks so much again, Lisa. And yeah, looking forward to keep collaborating with you.
Thanks, Beatrice. Great to chat to you today.